Welcome back, everyone. So, we are on day 2 of Unit 4, the usability test. So, today we're really going to break down what usability is and why it's important. Also, I do apologize again. This is going to be a little bit of a longer lecture. Please stay with me as always and bear in mind that these PowerPoints are able to be viewed at any time from the files page. Okay, so before we get into usability itself, we need to talk a little bit more about user-centered design, which is a term that's come up a few times this semester, but I want to go over it a little more in depth. So too often, systems are designed with a focus on business goals, fancy features, and the technological capabilities of hardware or software tools. All of these approaches to system design omit the most important part of the process, the end user. User-centered design, also known as UCD, is the process of designing a tool, such as a website's or application's user interface, from the perspective of how it will be understood and used by a human user. Rather than requiring users to adapt their attitudes and behaviors in order to learn and use a system can instead be designed to support its intended users' existing beliefs, attitudes, behaviors, etc., as they relate to the task that the system is being designed to support. The result of employing UCD to a system design is a product that offers a more efficient, satisfying, and user-friendly experience for the user, which is likely to increase sales and customer loyalty. An asterisk here, just as a reminder for this unit, your quote-unquote system design will be a website and its system design. Okay, so moving on, let's actually talk about usability itself. While fairly self-explanatory, usability at its heart is a measure of the interactive user experience associated with a user interface, such as a website or some other software application. A user-friendly interface design is easy to learn, supports users' tasks and goals efficiently and effectively, and is satisfying and engaging to use. An interface's level of usability can be measured by inviting intended users of the system to participate in a usability testing session, which you all will be doing this unit. During a usability test, a user is given a series of tasks to complete by using the system in question without any assistance from the researcher. On that note, you will not be providing assistance during your own usability test. The tester records user behaviors, emotional reactions, and the user's performance as he or she attempts to accomplish each task. The tester takes note of any moments of confusion or frustration that the user experiences while trying to complete a task, and also tracks whether or not the user was able to satisfactorily complete each task. Analysis of data from several users provides user experience engineers a means of recommending how and where to redesign the interface in order to improve its level of usability, and thus the user experience in general. Overall, usability is the quality of a system that makes it easy to learn, easy to use, easy to remember, error tolerant, and subjectively pleasing. So on that note, why is usability important? Why should you all care about this? From the user's perspective, usability is important because it can make the difference between performing a task accurately and completely or not, and enjoying the process or being frustrated. From the developer's perspective, usability is important because it can mean the difference between the success or failure of a system. It can also make the difference between a loyal customer and a customer who's writing terrible Yelp reviews. From a management point of view, software with poor usability can reduce the productivity of the workforce to a level of performance worse than that without the system. I could make a joke about Canvas here, but I'll refrain. In all cases, lack of usability can cost time and effort and can greatly determine the success or failure of a system. Given a choice, people tend to buy systems or use websites that are more user-friendly. All right, so that's all fine and good, but how does one actually achieve a high level of usability? Well, the key principle for maximizing usability is to employ iterative design, which progressively refines the design through evaluation from the early stages of design. The evaluation steps enable the designers and developers to incorporate user and client feedback until the system reaches an acceptable level of usability. Excuse me. So something you'll note here, in companies where usability tests are actually performed, it's not a one-time thing and then a website rolls out or software rolls out. It's a multiple time process. Sometimes usability tests may only need to be performed 2 or 3 times. Sometimes it may be months of usability testing, going back to the drawing board, testing again, revising again. So it's recursive. The preferred method for ensuring usability is to test actual users on a working system. Achieving a high level of usability requires focusing design efforts on the intended end user of the system versus something like the designer. There are many ways to determine who the primary users are, how they work, and what tasks they must accomplish. However, client schedules and budgets can sometimes prevent this ideal approach. Some alternative methods include using user testing on system prototypes, or a usability audit conducted by experts, and even cognitive modeling. So what is the usability problem with your website? Before you can effectively design or test a website, you must define the problem you wish to solve. You may have the idea that you want to modernize an existing website, for instance. That's a start, yet modern does not clearly define the problem to be solved. Defining what modern means will clarify the specific issues that your project will address. Modernizing may include adding a contact form to your site instead of opening a user's mail client, or it may mean changing the look and feel of a website or adding new interactive features to support user tasks. A redesign often requires an update to the website's information architecture in order to accommodate the addition or removal of features. To define the problem, consult with stakeholders, users, and subject matter experts. That's right, SMEs are back. Consulting with these people will allow you to better understand your intended audience, how people are currently using the site, and how they would like to use it. You might also conduct a heuristic evaluation of the site to learn where usability can be improved, meaning you walk through the site yourself, right? So you might go in and perform a usability test where you are the user in the situation. Finally, changes to business goals may require subsequent changes to a website, such as the decision to sell products online or things like that. Also, intended use. This can be hard to determine, but oftentimes the way to improve usability is to figure out intended use and gear the website towards the intended user and making it easier for them to do what they want to do. So part of defining your problem space involves understanding what your users intend to use the website to accomplish. Intended use includes the task users wish to accomplish via your website, the places and environments where they will use your website, and other people and objects they will interact with in order to accomplish a goal that your website supports. Establishing the intended use of your website can be done by determining the use cases, which are the most common tasks that your users will perform on the website. This is part of the reason why the home page must be involved in your Unit 4 assignment, because the home page is the anchor of most any website, or it should be. When you understand where and how users will interact with your website, you can begin to develop features set for the website. For example, if you're designing a website for a city's public transportation system, some users may want the ability to look up bus schedules from their Blackberries, iPhones, or Samsungs. Developing a design solution for this use case requires consideration of the environmental factors and the characteristics of the mobile devices that will be used to access the site. Use cases can be discovered by observing and interviewing users with respect to how they currently perform and would like to perform the task that your website will support. You can also figure out use cases by walking through the website carefully yourself. All right, everyone, thank you. We will be back together on Friday with another lecture.